The modern-day Gambia was once part of the Mali and Songhai Empires. Early history. It is possible that the Carthaginian explorer Fenn-O the Navigator sailed as far as the Gambia on an expedition in the 6th or 5th century BC. However, the first verifiable written accounts of the region come from records of Arab traders in the 9th and 10th centuries AD. In medieval times the area was dominated by the trans-Saharan trade. The Mali Empire, most renowned for the Mandinka ruler Mansa Kankan Musa, brought worldwide recognition to the region due to its enormous wealth, scholarship, and civility. The North African scholar and traveller Ibn Battuta visited the area in 1352 and said this about its inhabitants: "The Negroes possess some admirable qualities. They are seldom unjust, and have a greater abhorrence of injustice than any other people. There is complete security in the country. Neither traveller nor inhabitant in it has anything to fear from robbers or men of violence." From the early 13th century, the Kaura Ukanfuga, Mali's constitution, was the law of the land. The Songhai Empire, named after the Songhai people whose king assumed formal control of the empire, came to dominate the region in the 16th century. As time went on, the area began to suffer from continuous Moroccan and Portuguese invasion and looting. By the end of the 16th century, as the raids continued, the empire collapsed and was conquered and claimed by Portugal. Gradual British acquisition. In 1588 English merchants purchased from the Portuguese the exclusive right to trade between the rivers Senegal and Gambia. The transaction was confirmed for a period of 10 years by letters patent issued by Queen Elizabeth I. Letters patent conferring exclusive trading rights in the River Gambia were granted in 1598, 1618 and 1632. The first British settlement was established at Fort James on Dog Island by a British chartered company, the Adventurers of London, trading with Africa, the grantees of the letters patent of 1618. In that year, an expedition commanded by George Thompson WSS exploring the River Gambia when the crew of the ship were massacred by the Portuguese. The grantees then lost interest in the Gambia. In 1651 the government of the Commonwealth of England granted a further patent to London merchants, but they in turn abandoned the enterprises when Prince Rupert sailed into the Gambia and captured the vessels. In 1651 native chief ceded Dog Island, Half-Die, Jafure and Gasson to the Duchy of Courland under Jacob Kettler, the Duke of Courland. Merchants and missionaries were then sent out and forts were erected at Dog Island and at Half-Die. In 1662 new letters patent were granted to another British company, the Royal Adventurers, trading to Africa. They dispatched an expedition which, after occupying Dog Island, compelled the Duke of Courland's small garrison to surrender, took possession of Kunta Kinte Island. A period of competition with France followed. Albreda was established as a French settlement. However, by the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713, the French recognized the British title to Kunta Kinte Island and settlements in the River Gambia. By an Act of Parliament in 1765, the forts and settlements belonging to the Royal Adventurers trading to Africa were transferred to the Crown. From 1765 until 1783 the Gambia formed part of the Crown colony of Senegambia. In 1783 Senegambia was abolished. The Gambia was again transferred to the Royal Adventurers trading to Africa. However, the Royal Adventurers made no attempt to administer the Gambia. The exact date on which Banjul, then called St. Mary's Island, was ceded to the British is not clear. It is on record that in 1806 it was purchased by the British government. On the 23rd of April 1816, a British officer called Captain Grant made a treaty with the King of Combo for its cession to the United Kingdom. A further treaty made in 1827 confirmed possession of the island and adjoining territory, as the earlier treaty could not be found. In 1823, McCarthy Island was ceded to the United Kingdom by King Colonial and others. In 1826, McCarthy Island was established as a settlement for liberated slaves. In 1826, the north bank of the River Gambia was ceded by the King of Barra. The town of Fatatenda, with the surrounding district, was ceded to the United Kingdom in 1829. In 1840 and 1853 there were cessions of areas of the mainland adjoining Banjul by the King of Combo. In 1850 the King of Barra ceded sovereignty over the French enclave of Albreda, subject to French rights, which were, however, ceded to the United Kingdom in 1857. In 1887, the Emir of Batont ceded his territory and a number of treaties of protection were concluded with the principal chiefs living along the banks of the River Gambia. In some small cases, small tracts of land were ceded, but it was not practicable to administer them as part of the colony, and beginning in 1895, there was a series of ordinances bringing them under the protectorate system of administration, but this local legislation could not, of course, nullify the cession. From 1902 the whole of the Gambia was administered as a protectorate, except St. Mary's Island and, from 1947, the Combo Street, Mary division of the colony. Moving boundaries and status. During the period 1821 through 1888, there was constant merging and separation of the colony of the Gold Coast, colony of the Gambia, Sierra Leone and the colony of Lagos. In 1821 the Gambia, along with Gold Coast, became part of Sierra Leone. In 1843 the Gambia became a separate colony under letters patent dated 24 June 1843. A final severance of the Gambia from Sierra Leone took place in 1888 under letters patent dated 28 November 1888. Slavery. As many as 3 million slaves may have been taken from the region during the 3 centuries that the Atlantic slave trade operated. It is not known how many slaves were taken by Arab traders before and during the transatlantic slave trade. Most of those taken were sold to Europeans by other Africans. Some were prisoners of intertribal wars. Some were sold because of unpaid debts, while others were kidnapped. Slaves were initially sent to Europe to work as servants until the market for labor expanded in the West Indies and North America in the 18th century. In 1807, slave trading was abolished throughout the British Empire, and the British tried unsuccessfully to end the slave trade in the Gambia. They established the military post of Bathurst in 1816. In the ensuing years, Bathurst was at times under the jurisdiction of the British Governor-General in Sierra Leone. In 1888, the Gambia became a separate colonial entity. 20th century on, the Gambia received its own executive and legislative councils in 1901 and gradually progressed towards self-government. A 1906 ordinance abolished slavery. During the Second World War, Gambian troops fought with the Allies in Burma. Banjul served as an air stop for the U.S. Army Air Corps and a port of call for Allied naval convoys. U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt stopped overnight in Banjul en route to and from the Casablanca Conference in 1943, marking the first visit to the African continent by an American president while in office. After the Second World War, the pace of constitutional reform increased. Following general elections in 1962, full internal self-governance was granted in the following year. The Gambia achieved independence on 18 February 1965 as a constitutional monarchy within the Commonwealth. Shortly thereafter, the government held a referendum proposing that an elected president replace the Gambian monarch as head of state. The referendum failed to obtain the two-thirds majority required to amend the constitution, but the results received widespread attention abroad as testimony to the Gambia's observance of secret balloting, honest elections, and civil rights and liberties. On 24 April 1970, the Gambia became a republic within the Commonwealth, following a second referendum, with Prime Minister Sador Kairaba Jawara as head of state. Until a military coup in July 1994, the Gambia was led by President Jawara, who was re-elected 5 times. The relative stability of the Jawara era was first shattered by a coup attempt in 1981. The coup was led by Kukoi Samba Sanyang, who, on 2 occasions, had unsuccessfully sought election to parliament. After a week of violence which left several hundred people dead, Jawara, in London when the attack began, appealed to Senegal for help. Senegalese troops defeated the rebel force. In the aftermath of the attempted coup, Senegal and the Gambia signed the 1982 Treaty of Confederation. The Senegambia Confederation came into existence. It aimed eventually to combine the armed forces of the two states and to unify their economies and currencies. The Gambia withdrew from the Confederation in 1989. In July 1994, Jafare J.J. Jammeh led a coup d'état that deposed the Jawara government. Between 1994 and 1996, Jammeh ruled as head of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council and banned opposition political activity. The AFPRC announced a transition plan for a return to democratic civilian rule, establishing the Provisional Independent Electoral Commission in 1996 to conduct national elections. After a constitutional referendum in August, presidential and parliamentary elections were held. Jammeh was sworn into office as president on 6 November 1996. On 17 April 1997, the PIEC transformed into the Independent Electoral Commission. Jammeh won both the 2001 and 2006 elections. He was re-elected as president in 2011. The People's Republic of China cut ties with the Gambia in 1995 after the latter established diplomatic links with the Republic of China. The Gambia was elected to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council from 1998 to 1999. On 2 October 2013, the Gambian Interior Minister announced that the Gambia would leave the Commonwealth of Nations with immediate effect, stating that they would never again be part of a neo-colonial organization. In December 2014, an attempted coup was launched to overthrow President Jammeh.